So, today we're going to connect the dots between three stories about AI that, on the surface, might seem totally separate. We're looking at a CEO's pretty intense warning about political unrest, a big debate over what our future robot coworkers are even going to look like, and the high-stakes world where Silicon Valley ideals meet military reality. Let's jump in and see how they all tie together.
You know, we have to start right here, with this quote from Palantir CEO Alex Karp. Now think about this. This isn't some protester or an academic. This is a leader from the absolute heart of the tech industry. And he's saying his number one fear isn't running out of GPUs or a market downturn. It's the entire country blowing up. This single warning really frames everything else we're about to talk about.
And that really begs the question, doesn't it? While the tech world is so focused on building this amazing future, are they completely missing the social and political earthquake that could bring the whole thing crashing down?
Okay, so that brings us to our first section, the political powder keg. This is all about the very real, very human cost that comes with this kind of crazy fast technological change. It's about the massive disconnect between how the industry sees the problem and how regular workers are actually experiencing it.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the disconnect here. The tech industry, they love to talk in these big, abstract terms, right? Productivity gains, reskilling, economic growth. But for the average person, the worries are so much more, well, human. As one union leader, Sean O'Brien, put it, workers need a career path, they need dignity, they need a sense of purpose. You know, it's not just about a paycheck. It's about being able to build a life you can actually believe in.
So what it all boils down to is this. People have to be able to see a future for themselves in this new world. They need to feel like they're active participants in all this change, not just, casualties of it. And when that feeling breaks, when people feel like their purpose is being automated away with no clear next step, well, that's when things get really unstable.
And honestly, we've seen this movie before. Remember globalization? The overall economy got bigger, sure, but entire communities felt left behind, totally disposable, and that led to years of political turmoil. Alex Karp's warning is that AI is that exact same story, but on hyperdrive. It's happening so much faster, and if we don't learn from that lesson, the backlash could be absolutely massive.
All right, let's shift gears for our second section. Let's see how this kind of abstract fear we've been talking about is literally taking physical form. We're moving from the threat of job loss to a very real, very concrete debate that's happening in robotics right now. What should our future automated workforce actually look like?
Okay, first things first, let's get a key term out of the way. Robot form factor. It sounds technical, but it's super simple. It's just the physical shape of a robot. Does it have two legs, wheels? Does it have arms? This design choice, it isn't just about cool engineering. It's a huge bet on how AI is going to fit into our world. And this table just lays out the two competing philosophies perfectly. On one side, you've got humanoid robots. The whole idea there is versatility. They can fit into a world that's already built for humans. But on the other side, you have specialized robots, which are hyper-efficient at doing one single thing, like cleaning or farming. The big multi-billion-dollar bet is whether one of these designs is going to completely dominate the market.
And if you want to understand the power of specialized robots, just wrap your head around this number. In Shenzhen, these non-humanoid street cleaners have covered 2.7 million square meters. They are just ruthlessly efficient. No arms, no legs, just wheels and one single purpose. A humanoid robot trying to do that same job would be way slower and way more expensive.
But some people are betting it all on one horse. The CEO of Figure AI, Brett Adcock, is going humanoid only. His bet is that the general-purpose humanoid robot is going to become the PC of the robotics world, and that it'll make all these specialized machines look like old, clunky word processors. Useful for a while, but eventually totally obsolete. It's a huge risk, but the reward could be enormous.
Okay, for our final section, the stakes get even higher. We're moving from the factory floor to the battlefield, and this is where all those ideological debates brewing in Silicon Valley crash head-on with the cold, hard needs of national defense. This quote from Emil Michael, a major figure in these defense discussions, it just cuts right to the chase. The military's position is crystal clear. They need AI tools that reflect reality, period. They don't want an AI with its own pre-programmed moral conscience or ideology that could second-guess a critical operational decision in the heat of the moment.
And this slide gives you such a great snapshot of the current landscape.
You've got Elon Musk's XAI, which is totally all in. You have Google, which is kind of working its way in. OpenAI is trying to play the middle. And then you've got Anthropic, which is resistant because it operates on its own constitution, a set of guiding principles totally separate from US law. And that right there creates a massive point of friction.
So you're probably asking, why would you even bother with a reluctant partner like Anthropic? And the answer is just pure pragmatism. They got in early. They're already deeply embedded in a ton of government systems, and trying to untangle that relationship now would be incredibly complex and disruptive. So for the time being, despite this huge philosophical clash, the partnership continues, really just out of necessity.
And that leaves us with this final, and I think most important question. As AI's power just continues to explode, who actually gets to decide its purpose? Is it the workers worried about their future? Is it the engineers designing our robot coworkers? The generals deploying AI in war? Who decides? The coders who build it? The companies that own it? Or the society that has to live with it? That's the real conflict that's going to define this next decade.